All right, welcome back, everybody, for another wonderful episode of Triggered. Tonight we have a very special guest, Richard Kaufman. Thank you so much for joining us, man.
Yes, thank you.
Truly an honor. Thank you.
Oh man, it's my honor to be on your show. I mean, it's I'm just standing on the shoulders of giants.
I don't know, but I don't know, I'm only 5'4", 5'5", so damn airborne school shrinks you down.
I was never that cool. I was just a dat. I was a dumbass tanker, so I
Yeah.
didn't really get to do any cool stuff.
It seems like we get a lot of tankers and artillery on our show. Have you noticed that, Zach? It's like
Yeah, actually, in my old unit, when I went from active to National Guard, we we have a tanker that used to be in the unit, so he was pretty cool.
Yeah, we're a little bit left of center. We're not exactly right in the head.
Yep.
Good times though. So if you want, man, just to start off, tell us, who you are, where you're from. Give us your story. Let's tell the world what you've been up to and where you came from.
All right, I'll give you a quick down and dirty. But before I get started, I just got to say, we all had that one guy that was the shit bag in the unit.
Yep.
That was me. Because I always like start to preface that, when people know what they expect, they know that, that's where I started. Had 8 Article 15s, 2 field grades. So I wasn't the best guy, but I guess we'll talk about that eventually.
Yeah.
But,
you had the most fun though.
Yeah, I grew up in Jersey. My mother was an addict, and thank God she's clean now, 27 years.
Good for her.
Dad hauled ass at 3 months. So she was a nurse working swing shifts. So I was left alone to my own devices a lot. First drink of alcohol at 12, full-blown alcoholic by the age of 13.
Wow.
I figured I'd join the military because I hit my teacher in the head with a desk, and they kind of refrained. They refrained from that in school. And
it's crazy how that works,
So I decided either, join the military or go to jail. Somehow I joined the military and went to jail while I was in the military. Became a tanker. I thought tanks were cool. Just get to blow up shit. Like I said, I got just in regular Army, I had 6 Article 15s, and 2 of them were field grades. But what saved my ass was if you put me in the rear with the gear, I was the biggest fuck up. Mm-hmm. I was the field soldier. I was that dirty, grimy. You want me to stay up 3 days and drink Monster and do whatever you want to do. I'm there. I got your back. But as soon as you put me in garrison, I just, fucked up. So eventually, after 2.5 years, Uncle Sam decided, you know what? I don't want you as my nephew anymore. You got to get out. So they threw me out for being an addict and an alcoholic. Now, if you guys know me a little bit at all, I'm probably the only guy that actually got back in the military.
Okay.
And now, when I got back in, I got sober in 1989, and we could talk about that. I almost did 5 years, and I almost went to prison for 5 years.
Wow.
But as I was being arrested, my uncle, he was a Korean War veteran, he was actually the world boxing champion of the military in the Korean War. He said, "You know what? I knew you're not man enough to make this a military career. I knew you didn't have the balls." And it just stuck. It stuck in me and ate at me. I couldn't sleep at night. So actually I did everything I could, including getting congressmen to write me letters to get back in and to go into the National Guard. So nice. I joined the National Guard as reclassified as 11 Bravo, and I got in trouble again. I wasn't drinking. I wasn't drugging anymore because I was sober, but I was just an asshole. I was the biggest asshole you'll ever meet. And I was due to be thrown out again for the second time on at the end of September 11th of 2001. But because of what happened on the morning of Tuesday. Now, preface to go back a little bit. Where I'm sitting right now, if I go stand on my front porch, I can actually see where the Twin Towers once stood.
Wow.
And we all knew people that were in the buildings that day.
Yep.
And something broke in me that day. Like I said, I was due to be discharged again. But I begged my company commander, my first sergeant, to keep me. They did, but they busted me down to E1. So here I go again. I never had to be pinned. Just give me
Good old private.
Yeah.
Good old private life.
But thank God they kept me. I became a non-commissioned officer. I won Soldier of the Year.
Nice.
And then I get hurt in a field training accident where I'm backing up armored Humvee Humvee, and instead of him hitting the brakes, he hit the gas and ran over the whole right side of my body and my head. But the Kevlar saved me, which I knew. We never normally wear Kevlars in a Humvee,
Right?
Nope,
but
never.
for that day I did,
Rip it off.
and I became blind. I lost my vision.
Wow.
And, the military, you can't see, you can't shoot. And they decided to medically discharge me, after being in a warrior transition unit for about a year and a half.
Yeah.
And they decided to discharge me on Memorial Day 2012. And that was the day that I attempted suicide, because here I was given a second chance, and I did everything I could to become the ultimate soldier. I went to every class. I showed up 2 hours early, 2 hours late. You want me to reclass? I reclassed 3 times. Whatever you want me to do, I got you. And then to find out that I had to hand in my card, and you're no longer Richard Kaufman. You're no longer Sergeant Kaufman. Who are you? And I didn't know who Richard was. And thank God I attempted suicide, but it didn't go through. But that was the day that my new life started, was 2012 Memorial Day.
Well, what a story, man.
Yeah.
And it's very I gotta say, I served way after you. I served 2017 to 2020, and your story is definitely much harder than mine was. Unfortunately, a lot of the people that are listening, I was running and blew my knee out, and that was it. But my mindset was going for the long haul, this and the other. It's just that small stuff you don't expect to happen. And then the same thing, what do I do now? You had this plan, you had everything forward for you, you're ready to go, hard charger, and then boom. So yeah, man, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I planned on doing 30. That I wanted to do the whole bitch, and I think a lot of it was to prove my uncle wrong, because I respected him so much, and I just wanted to prove him that I was that kind of guy. And so unfortunately it worked out that way, but I think everything happens for a reason. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now if all that didn't happen.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you're here. Honestly, I'm glad that you found ways to deal with stuff just like me and Zach have found different ways to do it. So that's awesome. Do we have a cooker going?
No.
Okay. I got nervous. Yeah. I'm like, oh shit.
Not
again.
No, that's an amazing story. Now, what do you ever find out what happened to the soldier that ran you over? Whatever happened to him? Do you know? Or
well, here my story is. I was given a second chance. What happened was, in 1989, I got a job to bartend for it was a police officer. He owned his own bar, and it was New Year's Eve, so he offered me the job. Everything was going great. Drinks started flowing. 8 hours later, he shows up with 3 of his buddies to come lock me up because I robbed the place. I gave away like $2,000 worth of free drinks, and I pocketed like $5,000. And he looked at me, and he said, "You're 20 years old. If you go to jail in New Jersey, a pale-skinned white boy, you're going to be somebody's bitch."
Mm-hmm.
He said, "So I'm going to give you a chance." He said, "Because I don't want to see you ruin your life." So he gave me a chance to get the money back, and like I said, I borrowed it. I paid it all back. And he told me I had to hit 90 meetings in AA in 90 days. I hit like 300 in a row.
Nice.
But when that kid ran over me, it was his first drill with us. He was an E2, and I was like, you know what? I was given a chance.
Yep.
So in all the paperwork, we made it sure that his name didn't appear anywhere.
Gotcha.
That's awesome, man. And that's that battle buddy system. That's that true. I got your 6. Because there was, I'm sure Zach, you got a couple stories of that kind of stuff where it's like, oh well, accidentally fell off this, or this might have happened, or because you do need second chances, because let's be honest with you, us guys and females too who are in the military, we're still, even though you're in the barracks or you're in your own housing or whatever, you still don't get that much sleep. You still make mistakes. Things happen, especially in the field. I mean, and when you're running around with equipment that size, myself, I did a lot with the field trucks and water trucks. They're still very heavy. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's crazy. So, do you have any more questions? I'm sorry, Zach, before we move on to
No, I'm good right now.
All right. I'm like fighting this like allergy attack here, man. I'm sorry, Rich. It's like all sneezing and so I sound all nasty. So what are you doing now? I mean, I read up on your stuff, but like what I read was just like amazing to see. Because we're actually very in pretty much the same trajectory of what we're doing, which just excited me more and motivated me more. So tell the folks what you're doing now. Like you went through all that hard struggle and I don't even know the word for it that I can think of right now. The tribulations, there it is. The tribulations you went through and the hardship. So what are you doing now?
Well, what happened was, as when you're in a warrior, I don't know if you know, but if you're in a warrior transition unit, you sit there and do absolutely jack shit. You learn how to be a great card player. You learn how to play chess.
Guitar,
but a little while into it, I'm like, there's got to be something more. I said, because this shit's coming to an end. I know it's coming to an end. I just don't know the date. Mm-hmm. So I started reading books on finances, and I read a book by Robert Kiyosaki and Miss Sharon Lechter, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I'm actually having her on the show Friday. But I kept on reading self-development books, and I kept hearing Gary V. I'm like, who the fuck is Gary V? And I listened to him a while. He kind of got on my nerves, but he had a lot of stuff to say and a lot I wanted to learn. So I found out somehow that his father's liquor store is 20 minutes from my house.
Really?
So I called him up. I called his father up. I'm like, I'm a distributor. I want to, blah, blah, blah. When is Gary going to be there? And he's like, he'll be here Tuesday. So I actually got there and hung out with Gary V for like 30 minutes. We had lunch. And he got me started, and I started telling him my story. Now, this whole time I was in the military and also with National Guard. We all know if you're a National Guard, you always have another job. You got a real job. So I was working with GNC. I was working with guys from the WWE, NFL, Major League Baseball. Yep. And now, so that's what I did for a living. But, but after I told Gary what happened, he's like, bro, you've been through a lot of shit. I'm like, yeah. He's like, so you coach people. I'm like, yeah. He's like, so you're the comeback coach. I was like, I'm like, okay, but Gary, what do I do with that? He's
right. Like, you got it now. What do you do with it? Like, it's
like,
there.
He's like, what I want you to do is I want you to write a book. I'm like, a book? He's like, I want you to write all the dirty shit you've ever done, and I want you to publish it. And then I want you to start a podcast. And I'm like, here, I'm a low-tech redneck. I don't know what a podcast even is. but he kind of pushed me along, and now the book's been out 2 years. It's about to be. I'm republishing it coming Monday, actually.
Nice.
And now the podcast is doing okay. It's we've had in the last year 180,000 downloads. And now came out. You can't see. I don't think you can see it here, but came out my own coffee. So instead of having to drink that old nasty army coffee, my own coffee.
Old sludge.
So now now it's just about having people like you guys come on my show and tell your story. Because everybody has a story, and they all need to be told. And a lot of people that went through the same thing like I did, didn't know who they were, struggled, what getting out. I've had, I think, 385 interviews, and I had John Lee Dumas on last month, and he said, even though he gets 1 million downloads a month and makes 150 grand off his podcast a month, he said, but when I got out, he was a tank commander that lost 4 of his guys in Iraq, and he went through some severe PTSD, and he didn't know what to do with himself when he got out, and he struggled with transitioning. So even somebody successful as that still struggled. And I think a lot of, so my podcast is about, anybody that's struggling in life or in business, so it's all about resilience. It's all about coming back. It's all about letting people know that it's all right. It's okay not to be okay. And, but, if you listen to my show, I'm going to tell you, from the moment you hear my voice from now on, anything that happens, like, what's his name? Grant Cardone says, everything is your fault from this point on. So no matter what happens to you, it's all about how you react. And once you take ownership of your life, I think that's when you can really start achieving more in life, is when you start saying, all right, it's all my fault. I'll deal with it. But, from now on, it's all about, me doing the next right thing.
That's so awesome, man. It's so true. So true.
So during your time of troubles and the stuff you were going through, where did you find help? Did you find help in somebody? Did you reach out to an organization? Just for our listeners, in case anybody's listening, that they do need help.
Well, like I said, there was 3 different parts of my life that, the 3 major things that, 9/11 changed me. Because, after 9/11, I got back in, they let me stay in, but they busted me down to E4 to E1. Now this is like the 6th time. And I sat there and I'm like, all right, my way's not working, obviously. So I need to start doing what the successful people do, the E7s, the E8s, the colonels. But I didn't know what that meant. So I just got the drill 2 hours early. And I stayed till they left. And I kept doing that every drill until eventually they got me so annoyed with me being there that they started showing me the ropes and started to show me what a non-commissioned officer should be. So I realized at that point that success leaves clues. So I stopped hanging out with the E4s, E1s, because you can't get me anywhere. I've been there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I decided, all right, I'm just going to start hanging out with the winners and start doing what they do. And that's what I started doing with that. And then with the podcast, I started looking at people that are highly successful and what they're doing. Like my friend Zach Bagpot, some of these, Tony Watley, people like that are creating millions of dollars. What they're doing that I'm not doing. So I think if somebody's out there struggling, they want to do something, well, then maybe you need to start following the people that are doing what you want to do.
Absolutely. Just to piggyback off that, I watch a lot of different people on YouTube, motivational speakers, success people, all sorts of different industries. And one person I follow is Dan Pena. And one of the things he says, and you hit it right on the nail, is show me your friends and I'll show you your future. If you're hanging around with bums who are just, doing nothing with their lives, that's what you're going to come to. If you want, like you said, you want to be successful in whatever industry you're doing, follow those people because they're already at the top. They already know the game and they're willing to teach you. They're willing to give you their secrets, so to speak, their secrets. And a lot of times they're not even really that hard. It's just basic discipline and understanding. That's all. Most of the time, that's all it is to be a good start. So yeah, like you said, hanging out with E1s, E2s, the lower bunch. And I even saw that, being active duty, Monday morning they come in and they're all, fucked up still from the weekend. And then you see your E5, E6 who has a family who, oh, what'd you do this weekend? Oh, we went to the movies and we just chilled at home. And he was rested or she was rested. Then you have the, the E2 who just got demoted 4 times, and they're still doing the same stuff they've been doing, And you got to wake up one day and say, where do I want to be? I don't want to stay in this lane. I want to always be better. And you should always want to be better. So that's awesome the way you put that because that nails that hits a nail right on the head there. So,
but one thing I got to say, I love my veterans. I do. But a lot of them are cheap fucks. They don't ever want to invest in themselves. Like in order for me to have John Lee on my in his courses, I wanted to learn from him. And right. People like that are upper echelon, they're not going to invest in you until you show that you're invested in yourself and you're invested in them. And unfortunately, a lot of guys were broke like me. I started out broke, but if you want to, like, say, find a big podcast that you want to be on, like I can't wait to have Tony Robbins on. He's one of my dream guests.
That's huge.
So what I do is when I'm on LinkedIn and he shares a post, I like his post. I reshare it. I comment on it. I start liking his friends' posts. I have his friends on my show. Yep. So, I think sometimes you have to, even if you can't afford to do it, it doesn't cost you much to, get Audible for $15 a month. And then when he puts a post out, take a screenshot and say, listen, I'm listening to your post. I'm listening to your audio. Truly amazing. And he's going to start looking at you when he sees your name pop up. That's a good way to get, no matter who it is. And I think, and if you have a few extra dollars, take courses. And like, I've got 3 courses I'm taking in podcasting right now.
That's awesome.
I want to be better,
Yeah. And that's the thing. You want to be at the top of your game. You have to invest in yourself. Right now we could be, and yes, I'm still guilty of it. I still play Xbox. That's kind of my de-stressing sometimes to get away from reality. But all my work is done for that night before I even hit that Xbox. And a lot of times I'll go, what's that? What was the last time me and you played? Probably a month ago.
A month ago? Yeah.
Because we're grinding. Right now, for us, it's time to grind. When we had that time to take that,
I just got off my Xbox. I just got my ass kicked. I'm playing Golden State Warriors. I scored 50, and they beat me by 40. So, but that's my way to distress. Is either play NASCAR or play basketball. Yep. So I think it's a great way to de-stress.
It is. But yeah, man. I mean, like you said, investing in yourself is such a huge factor people have to understand, and what you put into your mind and what you put into your ears stays there. It's going to resonate. So if you're putting in positive stuff all day, no matter what side you're listening to or whatever, put that positive in, you're going to feel better and you're going to get positive out. It's good. It's just naturally going to happen.
Yep.
I think, people that start podcasts, they think it costs a lot of money. I mean, it doesn't cost a lot to have a cell phone and StreamYard. It doesn't cost a whole lot.
No.
But, there's 2 million podcasts out there, but only 50% are active. And the average podcast only lasts 8 episodes. So if you go to that 9th episode, you're in like the top 10%.
It's amazing to think that too, because I mean, and I still do this. I'm not gonna say every day, but like once a month, me and Zach literally go back to and say, okay, we did this month or whatnot. And like we've been doing now a year and 2 months, Zach, I think it is. We started in November of last year.
Yep, year and 2 months.
We have helped so many people in the sense of just like basic speaking or physically going and helping. And like when we saw Joni and worked with the service dogs, like if you're not passionate at what you're doing, don't do it. Don't even try to start it.
Yeah.
And I just feel so fortunate and passionate about not only the podcast, but what we physically do as well, because we've helped so many people. And if it was just that one person we helped or saved, then it was all worth it.
Yeah, and a lot of people get into podcasts and they think, I'm going to make a lot of money and do a little work. And you don't realize, like, you only record a couple hours a day, but they don't realize how, what long it takes to get guests on your show, to write liner notes, to promote shows. It's a job. It's work.
It is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Full time.
And I think that's why people quit, because after 8 episodes, we're like, fuck it. I can't, it's not worth it. And if you're in it for the money, if you're in it to make money, you're in it for the wrong reason.
Yep. Because you're going to be sad and even more broke. No, that's so true, man. That's so true. So, I was checking out your website and stuff. So why don't you plug in on that? We got about 4 minutes left for this segment. Where can people get your stuff? Like, it's your website's amazing, but where can we get this awesome coffee and the swag and all this other stuff?
Well, they can go to verticalmomentumpodcast.com. It has my swag, my T-shirts, my everything. Now, I think this is cool that, when I tell people I got all that, and then I tell them I make $0 off of it, because everything I make goes to help Project Die Hard 22. So all my money goes to help veterans struggling with homelessness and mental health. So I make no money off anything that I do. T-shirts, hats, books. I don't make any money off of it on purpose.
Okay.
So if anybody buys anything like that, the T-shirts or the hats or coffee, it knows that the proceeds go to help somebody else and not line my pockets. And I think that's why people can relate to me, because they know that, hey, I'm not making any money off of it. I'm just trying to help, pay it forward.
Yeah. And you said it was Project Die Hard?
Project Die Hard 22. Yep. They're actually making a place out in Kentucky to where they're going to be able to house 7 veteran families and 4 individual veterans for up to a year to take care of all their bills.
That's awesome. And is that a .org.com?
It is a .org. It is a 501(c), and he puts out his financials every month on social media. So it's just
awesome.
It's the real
transparent. That's awesome. I just put it out there on StreamYard. If you guys are watching live, projectdiehard22.org. Go check them out as well. I know with us, we're on a Operation at Ease, they call it. They take shelter dogs and match them with service members and first responders, train them as service dogs, and then give it to them for free. They work for it. The dog and the service member work for it. But Joni down there at Operation at Ease is amazing, and that's what we raise our money for, is to help them out for this season, or last season it was. This season we're standing behind Veteran Coalition Housing, homeless shelters, or homeless shelters, helping homeless vets get homes and stuff like that in this area. It's an amazing thing. So it's just so great to really pay it forward. And if you're not doing things like that, then like you said, you're in the wrong game. You shouldn't even be trying. You should be paying it forward.
Where are you guys located?
Middleburg, New York.
Upstate New York.
Yeah.
Okay. Jersey. So we're not really that too far.
No.
Where are you out of again?
Jersey. We're right by Giant State.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Yep.
Nice. So we got about 40 seconds left. So guys, thank you so much for joining us. Richard, once again, thank you so much, man. We'll definitely have you back on the show. I mean, I want to hear some more of these crazy stories you got, It sounds
those tankers, they have a bunch of crazy stories, I can tell you that.
Now, you guys are going to be on my show.
Yes, tomorrow.
Thursday night.
Tomorrow.
And it's going to be live on Facebook, LinkedIn, where I have like 28,000 followers, and also on what the hell's the other? YouTube. So you guys are going to go out and we're going to have some fun talking about you guys and getting into
Awesome.
your story.
Awesome. Sweet. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a great time. Here we go. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I mean, I'm super excited for it. Tomorrow night, I'm actually speaking down at Middleburg Rotary Club a little bit. So my side projects for motivational speaking. So if anyone's in the area and wants to come down, come check it out. It's at the community center at 1800. And for you Civi crazies, that's 6 p.m. As the wife goes, thank you. But yeah, it's gonna be a good time, and I mean, yeah, I can't wait to be on your show as well. I'm really excited for it. Hopefully, I don't sound so congested. I'll take some Benadryls or something later tonight and actually sleep.
And
Yeah.
if we can raise some money for your charities, for what you guys are working on, then it'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, man. That'd be
Definitely.
great.
Yep.
Yeah. So, guys, as we always say,
Stay triggered. Thank you, Richard.
Oh, thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right.